शलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान सह गणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। नाम चिन्तामणि कृष्णश्चैतन्य रसविग्रह पूर्णशुद्धो नित्यमुक्तो अभिन्नत्वं नाम नामिनो। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवात्सादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। निगमकल्पतरुर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मतस्ततज्ज्ञानमापोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविद् एव चाहम्। We'll read the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam by Sanatana Goswami. सर्वशास्त्राभिपीयूष सर्ववेदैकसत्फला सर्वसिद्धान्तरत्नाद्य सर्वलोकैकदिक्प्रदा सर्वभागवता प्राणा श्रीमद्भागवता प्रभो कलिद्वन्द्वोदित्या श्रीकृष्णा परिवर्तिता परमानन्दपाठाय प्रेमवर्षि ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोऽस्तु मे। मदेकबन्धु मत्सङ्गिन् मद्गुरु मन्महादना मन्निष्ठारक मद्भाग्या मदानन्द नमोऽस्तु ते। असाधु साधु तादायिन्नति नीचोचताकरा हानमुञ्च कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्ण हृत्कण्ठयो स्फुरा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Hare Krishna. So, welcome you all to the morning session of Srimad Bhagavatam. Taking this as a seva, right? It is said that, the birds, every bird cannot fly to a very height, right? To high altitude. Every bird has its own limitation. Similarly, according to my own knowledge, my understanding, I'll try to glorify the 13th chapter of fourth canto, the first five verses. Please accept my humble obeisances and tolerate my shortcomings and bless me that I speak right words in the right mode. Doing this as a seva for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord and for my own purification. If one or two devotees can keep the cameras on, it would be good for me for the communication. So I'll just share. Yeah. So, fourth canto, the creation of the fourth order, right? In that we are in the 13th chapter. So we read about the glorification of Dhruva Maharaj, right? So today what we are going to see is that I'll just share. It is the descendants. Yeah. 13th chapter, description of the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj. After understanding yesterday in full length, we had what is that we understand from the glories of Dhruv Maharaj, the story, the Leela, the pastime. So we understand that Dhruv Maharaj was very determined, tolerant. Not only from Dhruv Maharaj, his mother, Suniti. There were various lessons that we could take up from that Leela. So further, we let us understand what is the further questions asked by Maitreya Muni, asked to Maitreya Muni by Vidura. So the first verse says that Suta Uvacha Nisamya Kausara Vinopa Varnitam Dhruvasya Vaikunta Padadirohanam Praruda Bhavo Bhagvatya Dokshaje प्रस् प्रष्टुम पुनस्तम विदुरा प्रचक्रमे. Anybody would like to recite? Yeah, Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams Mataji.
Mataji.
Suta uvacha nishamya kaushara vinopa varnitam dhruvasya vaikunta padadirohanam prarudha bhavo bhagavatya dokshasye prastum punastam vidura prachakrame. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
The translation, Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sutta Goswami, continuing to speak to all the rishis, headed by Saunaka, said, after hearing Maitreya Rishi describe Dhruva Maharaja's ascent to Lord Vishnu's abode, Vidura became very much enlightened in devotional emotion, and he inquired from Maitreya as follows. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Pranams Mataji. So, Nishamya Kausara Vinopa Varnitam. That after Shuta Goswami, after hearing whatever the Maitreya Muni was explaining, this entire Srimad Bhagavatam is about the conversation. First, we said in Naimisharamya, where Sutta Goswami is asked questions by the sages headed by Shaunaka Rishi. And in answer to those questions, Sutta Goswami, he takes up the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. And then further, they pick up the conversation between Narad Muni, Prachetas, Narad Muni, Lord Shiva. So it is all question and answer session. So here it is said that after hearing Vidura had asked few questions and Maitreya Muni was explaining to him. So he was telling about Dhruvasya Vaikunta Padadi Rohanam. He was after hearing about the pastimes of Dhruva, about his ascent to the abode, then he was praruda bhavo bhagavatya dukshacha. It increased his devotional emotion, and he asked prastum punastam vidura prachakrame. He started asking further more questions. So in the purport, let us understand what is when after hearing the glories, the his devotion increased. That is what it is said. So Prabhupada in length explains that how important it is that for us to read, spend our time hearing the glorification of the Lord and his devotees. Not to, we specifically mentioned not only the Lord, but his devotees also. So from the purport, we understand that here it is said that the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the devotees are so fascinating that neither the devotee nor or who is describing them nor the devotee who is hearing is at all fatigued by inquiries and answers. We ourselves can understand for so many years together. We started ICF started this Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Initially it was like, let us do the first module of Bhakti Vaibhav. So we finished the first canto, second canto, third canto, but then the request came on, that let us further continue, and then we entered into the fourth canto, right? So that is the call. So here it is said that when the devotee who is speaking about the Lord also is never satisfied. He wants to speak more and more, and the devotees who are listening to the glories, they do not get bored, right? They are never satiated. So that is what it is. So then we can, why it is like that? Because the mundane other activities, when somebody tells something one or two times or many times, the third time we are bas bola na abhi humko pata hai. Like we say that, but it is not like that for Krishna's pastime. We know the birth of Krishna, we know his pastime, but even then when we hear it again and again, we enjoy it so much that we want to hear more. And every time we hear, we get a realization. There is a understanding. So it is said that why it is so, because all these subjects are transcendental. They are the transcendental subject matter. It is not on a mundane platform. It is so nice that no one can become tired of hearing or speaking. And this is it. Then, whereas the others who are not into this picture, they think that how these people can, we have this saptaha, where actually it is not possible to describe the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, but yet we have the saptaha where people go every day. Right? They are eager to go after hearing the first day. Then we are like, no, we have to go. Like we have today here in Dubai, we have Gauranga Darshan Prabhu coming to Dubai for giving this saptaha. So everybody are here arrange how to go, when to go, when is it, that inquisitive to learn more and more. And it is said that when you hear it from the right source, from an authorized person, then it becomes even more relishable. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamukadamrita drava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavakaha. Srimad Bhagavatam is written by Vyasudev, but everybody is eager to hear it from Shukadev Goswami, right? It becomes very more relishable because he has accepted it, and he has imbibed it in his within him. So it becomes even more relishable. It becomes very more potent. That is, and it has the power to um, transform us. So that is what. So the devotees are never satisfied nor satiated in hearing the speaking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The more we hear, the more we talk, the more we become enthusiastic to hear about it. The chanting of when we have the Kirtan Mela, it is only the Maha Mantra, right? But continuously for 3 days with excitement we go. Here in Dubai also we have Kirtan Mela in the month of December. We look forward for it and we do not miss it. Even anywhere there is Kirtan Mela, wherever you are, you see that how encouraging it is, and we make it a point that we attend it, right? So it is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is simply the repetition of the three words Hare Krishna and Rama. But still the devotees go on chanting this Hare Krishna mantra 24/7 without the feeling of fatigue, isn't it? Can put your realization. What do you think? Uh, can you all share a few points?
Mataji, my experience is when I do individually, it's boring. Like you now mentioned the Kirtan Mela. there it's like we get super energy. I mean, we don't miss the breakfast, lunch, and all, even hunger, thirst, nothing. Among the devotees and with music, it's like it shouldn't stop. That feeling is there.
Yeah, yes. Anybody else would like to share few points? That hearing from the Leelas of the Lord, recently, I don't know, maybe it had come to your place as well, this Raja Di Raj, the musical spectacle, depicting the pastimes of Krishna. It was so spectacular. So much of, they were though not done by a group of people, but they did a very good thing, getting the people to know about the pastimes of the Lord, the birth of Krishna, singing and acting with dance and the background. It was so amazing that somebody first time who has done it in such a large scale throughout the world, going from one country to the another. At least those who are not reading, those who are not into it, they had also come, and something they could pick up. It was so, though we know the past time, but when it came to Yashodamai, Krishna leaving Yashodamai and going, the way they described it, the way the songs were put in, it was so, you feel, your heart gets, blown up. There were not a single person who wouldn't have shed tears, seeing that scene. It was so good. So that is what we say that, further we say that that from that we should understand that how potent and how transcendental subjects help us in our transformation, because we are in this material world always with false ego, right? Considering this is mine, this is that, this is this, but all that subject matter does not help us in our purification. Even Kunti Maharani, and Kuntamarini's praise, she says that Shrinvanti Gayanti Grinanti Abhikshnasha Smaranti Nandanti Tavehitam Janaha Ta Eva Pashyanti Achirena Tavakam Bhava Pravaho Paramam Padambujam.
இப்போ
Oh
நெட்ஸே
Krishna.
சரியில்லை பாத்துக்கோங்க.
Haribol. Oh Krishna, those who continuously hear and chant and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. That is how potent is listening to the glories of the Lord. So why they say continuously, why it is said? Because it causes inspiration and devotion. Right? It helps us, it demonstrates the unwavering faith, the devotees through their pastime, unwavering faith, love for Krishna. Prahalad Maharaj, he heard it when he was in the womb of his mother, when Narad Muni was telling it, right? When he came out, he spent, even though as a small child, he would always tell, whenever he got the chance, he would tell about the glories of Krishna to his friends, to whomever he met. When he was put in difficult situation, he always remembered Krishna because he heard it. That it is only the taking the shelter of the Krishna can help you to overcome all the difficulties. He was put in so many difficulties, but he never left. The faith increased, in fact. So when we hear the stories, the unwavering love, wavering love, faith, dedication to God, it energizes. It inspires us to cultivate deeper spiritual practice and understanding of devotion. It helps our life can be transformed by surrendering to Krishna. So many of us in this platform, it has helped us to transform our lives. If there are any inputs or anything you could like to share, how it has helped you, it would be very nice that it will help inspire others as well. Few of you all can tell. Haribol. Hope everybody are there with me.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, you can share, Mataji, anything, any realizations, how it has helped you, you know. Personally, if I would say, I lose my temper very fast. But then now after hearing, because we hear that, these are the things which, take us, they are the three gates to the hell, which has really helped me, to, if things happen and I am not liking it either, I will think, no, this is going to take me away from the spiritual. Whatever I have done will go in waste. So let us overcome it. So it has really helped me. Sen Mataji, I think you had unmuted. You would like to share?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Mataji. Mataji, I am a neophyte devotee, only 5 years in devotion. Before that, I knew nothing. I just joined a Gita course because of I wanted to know what is there in Gita. And then slowly, I got into the process. And Mataji, I thought I used to be a non-vegetarian and I was addicted to Netflix. But Mataji, it so organically happened that today easily for some years I don't take non-vegetarian food, onion, garlic. It became easy, and with chanting and all this process, I don't even know. I now I think, how can I finish all those scriptures? I don't have enough time for that in this life. But I don't even feel like Mataji watching anything on the TV for some months only, maybe 1 year or more. I just watch YouTube lectures. Otherwise, I read and try to remember shlokas, try to learn. There is so much to learn, Mataji. It has helped me a lot in my life
Very
to
good.
keep my. Thank you, Mataji,
Yeah, that is
for
it.
giving
See,
me a chance to speak.
yeah. See, listening to the stories, it helps you to develop a connection with Krishna. So we were seeing that Raja, that Yashoda Mai, the experiences, that lamentation, the separation from Krishna, even you feel it, you connect it, that vatsalya bhav, you feel it. So this helps you to bring out your bhava. Slowly the cleansing action takes place there through the lives who have dedicated themselves to the. It also helps one to learn how to live a life of devotion, humility and service, right? They are the teaching lessons. They contain moral and philosophical lessons, like from Dhruva Maharaj, determination. Last, when I gave the one Mataji had asked that I do not feel determined, right? But hearing this Dhruva Maharaj story, not in one chapter, chapter after chapter, it becomes so. Then it becomes so mandatory for us to be determined. See, even not only in this spiritual life, even anything, any project you take, if you are not determined, you will not reach the success, you will not achieve your goals, right? Every goal should have a determination to do. So how important. And then we see that even the nectar of instruction says, of the six items which are favorable for devotional service, I think everybody can hear, or it is my, is it low?
Yes, Mataji, but it
Yes, but
is bit
low,
low.
a
Audible,
little low,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Now is it okay, Haribol? It's audible.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Now it's
It is
audible.
Mataji.
audible
Yes,
for me,
Mataji. Yes.
Mataji.
Voice a
Audible.
bit better.
Ah, okay. So where was I? Um,
The six things
You were
favorable.
saying about the
Yeah,
NOI.
yeah. The six items which are favorable for devotional service. How in that there is determination, right? You have to be determined. Then only you can proceed. It will help you to go along the path of spirituality. It says that ahaituki apratihata. So with determination, undeterred, and constantly we have to be in this. So all that is possible when you continuously hear about the glories of the Lord and the glories of his devotees. So the essence in hearing these stories deepens our understanding of spiritual life, inspires greater devotion, provides practical guidance for living in accordance with divine teaching. One example which I can give is Murari Gupta. He was a great devotee of Lord Rama. He would not hear anything beyond that. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him about the glories of Lord Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, perpetually, with profound way. He would glorify it. Slowly, slowly, that helped him. Though Lord Rama and Lord Krishna are one and the same, right? But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because through his teachings, through his regularly hearing, that transformation occurred in him, and then he developed that taste to hear about the glories of Krishna, understanding that Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So these are the few things which we should understand, that how important it is for us. There is one verse which, let me see, I had opened it. It is Srimad Bhagavatam itself, where it says that 1.5.10. If somebody has it, okay, I'll just. Yeah, so I'll stop the screen share. This all of us has gone through it, but then again and again, it when we repeat it, it really hits us and helps us to uh, be grounded with and understand that why it is important to hear about Krishna. Here it say, Nayat, but just or somebody else can read this. Rohini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
नयद्व नयद्वचश्चित्रपदं हरेर्यशो जगत्पवित्रं प्रग्रविता कर्हिचित् नयद्वचश्चित्रपदं हरेर्यशो जगत्पवित्रं प्रग्रनिता करीहिचित् तद्वायसं तीर्थम् उशन्ति मानसा न यत्र हमसा निरमन्त्य उशिक्षयः. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So what does the translation say, Shudha Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranams. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there.
Yeah.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
So see, here it says that if they are words, before also it says if your activities, if does not arises the desire to hear more and more, then it is Shama Eva Kevalam. It is just a waste of time. Similarly, here it says that if you are the words which do not describe the Lord, what it is just like a pilgrimage of crows. Here, Prabhupada in the purport very nicely he has described between the workers, crow and swan, right? They are not the same. Where does a crow thrive? It will thrive where there is dirt, dead bodies, right? Similarly, Prabhupada says that those who take pleasure in listening to the mundane activities and engaging themselves, they are just like the crow, like who take pleasure in the garbage. And those are the people who are taking pleasure in wine and women only for gross pleasure, sense gratification. But the swan is not like that. We can have you seen a swan in dirty places? No. Swan is always in a beautiful places, in a good reservoir, in a clean water reservoir, right? Where there is lot of lotus, various flowers. There it is with variegated color and natural beauty. That is where the swan is found. So we should be just like a swan, not like a crow. This is the difference. Giving this difference, the nature has different species of life with different mentalities. It is not possible to bring all of them to the same rank of life. That is why we have Vedas, even the scriptures of different modes, in different modes, to help people in every way, so that ultimately the end of each scripture is that Vasudeva Sarva Iti, that Krishna You are not independent, you are dependent on Krishna, which will help you to transcendent. So the literature which describes the glories of Krishna, of the Lord, are enjoyed by the Paramahansas who have grasped the essence of human activities. So this is what most of the verses which tell. Spiritually advanced men are called Manasa also because they always keep up to the standard of transcendental voluntary service to the Lord on the spiritual plane. They completely forbid fruitive activities for gross bodily sense gratification or subtle speculation of material egoistic mind. So this is another example which I thought I would share with you all, verses which we have done long time back, which tells us that why it is important for us to hear about the glories of the Lord. So is this okay? Is there any doubt in this? If not, then we can, or you want to add something? Any further examples which came across your mind, which you would like to share about hearing the glories of the Lord? You can do so. Anushya Mataji, is it for reading?
Yeah, yes, Mataji. I didn't see any hands, so I raised it. Thank you.
Okay. No problem. Today, what happened? Everybody are in a very low key. We should be enthusiastically, we should hear about the glories of the Lord. It will really help us in a very subtle way. Okay, Mataji, verse 2.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Vidura uvacha kete pracetaso nama kasyapatyani suvrata kasyanvaye prakyatah kutra va satramasata. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Shobha Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation by S.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Vidura inquired from Maitreya, "O greatly advanced devotee, who were the
Chetas.
Prachetas? To which family did they belong? Whose sons were they? And where did they perform the great sacrifices?" Haribol. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji. Dandavat.
Mataji. Krishnamurti Prabhu, the purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranams Mataji. Purport by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki Jai. The great Narada is singing in the previous chapter of 3 verses in the sacrificial arena of the Prachesas gave another impetus to Vidura to ask further questions. Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranams Mataji.
Pranam. So here it is that actually the Dhruva Maharaj's pastime, how it started was that the Prachetas were doing some sacrificial activity. So in that arena, Narad Muni had come and he was glorifying the devotees of the Lord. And in that he took up Dhruva Maharaj. So he was talking, and that is how it started. And then Maitra Muni was telling to Vidura about Dhruva Maharaj's life, activities as a small child. Then he went how he could see the Lord, and then how the Lord blessed him, and he ascended to the abode of the Lord, and how he was given the Dhruva Loka. After hearing all that, then he remembered, you were talking about that, no, Prachetas. They were doing some sacrifices, and in that sacrificial arena, Narad Muni was speaking. So who are those Prachetas? What were they doing? Why did they were performing this sacrificial activity? What was the reason? So he remembered that and he started asking about the Prachetas. Further, Kripamai Mataji, Haribol Hare Krishna, the third verse. Hare Krishna. Okay, Shubharao Prabhu.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Manye Mahabhagavatam Naradam Devadarshanam Yena Prokrit येन प्रोक्तः क्रियायोग परिचर्या विधि हरे.
Hare Krishna. Divya Mataji, the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Srila Prabhupada translation. Vidura continued, I know that the great sage Narada is the greatest of all devotees. He has compiled the Pancharatrika procedure of devotional service and has directly met the Supreme Personality of God. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Pranam. So here is, yeah. Vidura was telling, yes, I know you were talking about that sacrificial arena, and then Narad Muni was speaking about Dhruva. I know the Narad Muni, he is the Raja Rishi, right? He is the Rishi who is the greatest of all the devotees. He is the one who, when we remember a person, we say, yeah, he is the author of that book. Yes. So similarly, say, he is the author of Pancharatrika Vidhi of devotional service. He is the one who has met the Lord directly. So you were talking about Narad Muni. So that's further. When it said about Pancharatrika Vidhi, Prabhupada very lengthy makes us understand what are the two various ways of doing devotional service and what is the difference between it. So Ishu Mataji, the purport.
Mataji, it's me, public, because my mobile is giving trouble to my husband's
Okay, Mataji.
phone. Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, he said, there are two different ways of approaching the Supreme Lord. One is called Bhagavata Marga, or the way of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the other is called Pancharatrika Vidhi. Pancharatrika Vidhi is a method of temple worship, and Bhagavata Vidhi is a system of 9 processes which begin with hearing and chanting. The Krishna conscious movement accepts both processes simultaneously and thus enables one to make steady progress on the path of realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This Pancharatrika procedure was first introduced by the great sage Narada, as referred to here by Vidura. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So here it talks about Pancharatrika Vidhi and Bhagavata Vidhi. So let us understand what is this Pancharatrika Vidhi, what is Bhagavata Vidhi, how do we understand it? So here Prabhupada I've taken this from the Spiritual Speaking 3 where it says that right, there are two tracks, right? For a train to go, there are two tracks required, right? So that it go very safely and travel a distance. Similarly, here is these two track vidhis. These two are the tracks required to walk safely on the spiritual path, as Srila Prabhupada often mentions. In the same way as a physical train needs two parallel tracks, also the train of bhakti needs two parallel tracks. One is Bhagavat Vidhi or the path of Shravanam and Kirtan, and also known as the Raga Marga. So the Bhagavat Vidhi, Shravanam and Kirtan is called the Raga Marga, and Pancharatrika Vidhi or the path of Archanam is called as the Vidhi Marga. Raga Marga is to develop, to bring out that emotion within you, and the Vidhi is following the rules and regulations, various rules and regulations we do. So let us understand why it is required and what is it. So the Pancharatrika Vidhi, in another words, the practice of deity worship, right? So of the nine types of devotional service, like which we say Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, out of that, which Prahlad Maharaj gave, Pad Sevanam, worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Archanam, the deity worship, Vandanam, praying, Dasyam, executing orders, all this fall in the category of Pancharatrika Vidhi. Right? Pada Sevanam, cleaning the temple, doing the seva for the Lord. Right? Archanam, deity worship, various paraphernalias which we use. Vandanam, various prayers we say. So in ISKCON, Prabhupada has also adopted both. He has given us both. Though we say that chanting and hearing the glories is enough, but along with that, he has also given the Pancharatrika Vidhi as well as, right? How do our day start? It starts with Mangalarti, the Guru Ashtaka, the Guru Pranam, which we do, right? After that, we have the Narsimha prayers, where one person will be singing, the other person will be offering Dhupa, Deepa, flower, then taking bath, right? Then the peacock feathers, chamara. So there are various vidhis. So let us understand what is it and why it is to be done. And on the other hand, what is Bhagavata Vidhi? It is the practice of hearing and chanting and constantly remembering the Lord and His activity. So again, of these 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, that is hearing, chanting, and remembering, falls under the category of Bhagavata Viti. Okay, is this clear? So now, when it is said that why not just do chanting and recite Srimad Bhagavatam? Why do you have to do deity worship, right? We say, right? When we hear Janma Karma Chamev Divyam, Evam Yoveti Tatvataha, that once you hear it, it will help you to leave this body and do not come back into this. So then why have we to do the deity worship? What is the need of it? Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, this is what he says. He says that this is why we do it, to get rid of false egoism. We are in this mundane world, right? We have that me mind, right? So I am the body. Yes, Bhagavad, reading the scriptures as well. So that's what we said, na? Hearing, reading, and remembering. So I am the owner of everything. I am the proprietor. It is very beneficial. This is what we have. This is our nature. So it is very beneficial for us to bow down before the deity of Krishna, to witness the arti of Krishna, to worship Krishna in a formal way. Why? This helps us to train our mind, to have a particular time of the day, to have at a particular time every day a type of deity worship is important to develop a relationship with India, with our the Supreme Lord. Because how our mind is, it is always gradually get a little more and more independence, then grab us into sense gratification. That is our mind. Very chanchal. We feel that we are independent. Are we independent? Can we do everything independently?
No,
Do you
Mataji.
think?
No, Mataji.
Without the
Mataji.
mercy of the Lord, without His grace, nothing is possible. So, for that, to make us understand, to bow down, right? These are the vidhis, to bow down, leave up your ego. That is what is required. That is why we have the various vidhis, the various which Prabhupada has given us. Srila Prabhupada also say, the temple worship will keep us sanctified. And when we shall preach in sanctified, pure heart, the preaching will be immediately effective. To perform these vidhis, of course, we have to purify ourselves externally as well, right? And then we start doing our activities, collecting all the paraphernalia to do the deity worship. So we have to follow 2 parallel lines simultaneously for the successful execution of devotional service. Yes, chanting, hearing, everything is required, but at the same time, Prabhupada has clubbed the Pancharatrika Vidhi also for our own purification. By simply hearing the Bhagavatam and chanting, our mind is completely absorbed in spiritual Krishna consciousness. That's enough. That even without any formal worship, we can go on. But yet, in this beginning stages, right? Like Mataji said, for the past few years, 5 years, she is there in Krishna, but still she feels that she is a neophyte. Yeah, because every day the sin which we have accumulated, everything has to go, right? So we always feel that we are just a beginner. So we don't have the spontaneous, we do this to develop the spontaneous attraction for Krishna. So in the beginning stage, we do not have the spontaneous attraction for hearing and chanting to that full extent. So a formal worship is also beneficial. This is said by His Holiness Japataka Swami Maharaj. So that is why we have to do deity worship as well. For as advanced devotee, this is enough. The Bhagavad Vidhi is enough. So we can understand, we can analyze our own position, what position we are. Is it enough for us? Then, but we have to club it up. Jiva Goswami also says, although Sankirtan is sufficient for the perfection of life, the Archanam or the worship of the deity in the temple must continue in order that the devotees must stay clean and pure. That is why, along with the Bhagavad Vidhi, we have incorporated the Pancharatrika Vidhi as well. Hope this is clear. We move on to the 4th verse. 2 more verses to go for this session. Yeah. Yes, Anusia Mataji. Anusia
Hare
Mataji
Krishna.
really encourages us a lot. From day one, I see her enthusiasm. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
स्वधर्मशीलै पुरुषैर्भगवानेज्ञपूरुषः इज इज्यमानो भक्तिमाता नारदेर्नेरितः किल. Thank you, Mataji.
Ijyamano bhaktimata naradehi rita.
Denaritah kila.
Hari Bol. Sudha Mataji, Barnali Mataji, the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you Mataji. Dandavat pranams. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. While all the prachetas were executing religious rituals and sacrificial ceremonies and thus worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his satisfaction, the great sage Narada described the transcendental qualities of Dhruva Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sudha Mataji, the purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Narad Muni is always glorifying the pastimes of the Lord. In this verse, we see that not only does he glorify the Lord, but he also likes to glorify the devotees of the Lord. The great sage Narada's mission is to broadcast the devotional service of the Lord. For this purpose, he has compiled the Narada Pancharatra, a directory of devotional service, so that devotees can always take information about how to execute devotional service and thus engage 24 hours a day in performing sacrifices for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has created 4 orders of social life, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. In the Narada Pancharatra, it is very clearly described how each of the social orders can please the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 18.45, it is stated, Sve Sve Karmani Abhirata Samsiddhim Labate Naraha. By executing one's prescribed duties, one can please the Supreme Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.13, also it is stated, Mataji, just
Wow. 1 minute.
Screen,
Mataji.
yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.13, also it is stated, Swanutishtai tasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. The perfection of duty is to see that by discharging one's specific duties, one satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here in this verse, you see that the purport says that according to the social order, there are 4 social order of social life. There are 4 orders of social life, right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and Sudras. Everybody should do their prescribed duty, and this itself, when you perfect it in discharging your duty, you are satisfying the Supreme Personality of Lord. Chaturvarnya Maya Shashtam. This 4 categories, the orders has been created by the Lord himself. Like, for example, here it is in the verse, what it is said, here it is, the prachetas were executing the religious rituals and sacrificial ceremonies. Why they were the leaders, right? So why they were doing for the benefit of their subjects, right? They have to rule the world, right? As a matter of fact of their duty, they are doing it. Is it required for a advanced person? We say no. But then they are in that position. They have to do for the benefit of the people so that everybody gets their share, right? To please the demigods, to please the Lord. Ultimately, all the yajnas are to please the Lord, right? And then in that arena, who came? Narad Muni came. Narad Muni, who is what? He is a Brahmana. What is his duty? His duty is to preach, right? So like that, if we do our duty, as a Brahmana's duty is what? What is the duty of the Brahmana?
Patan,
Ha.
Yajna.
Yeah, Patan,
Yeah.
Danam,
Yajan.
yeah. So what is his duty? Patan. He has to read and he has to deliver it to the others. Right? So here we see one person, he is doing the sacrifices and the other person is glorifying. In ultimately, they are pleasing the Lord and they are educating each other. One is doing for the benefit of the subject and the other is doing benefit for in general for the all. So this is what, to further understand, let us go to this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.13. Let me just. Yeah. Mataji, can you read this verse again? Sudha Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
अत अत पुंभिर्द्विजश्रेष्ठ वर्णाश्रमविभागशः स्वनुष्ठिस्तस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्.
Yeah. So, anybody else would like to read the translation?
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. So here it is said, O best among the twice born. It is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste and division and order of life is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very nice purport. Let us just read once since we have 10 minutes. Divya Mataji, yes, Mataji, you can read.
Hey Krishna Mataji. The purport by Srila Prabhupada.
Mataji, we cannot hear you.
The world is divided into 4 castes and 4 orders. Hare Krishna Mataji. Am I
Yeah,
audible,
there is some
Mataji? Hare
disturbance
Krishna.
or it is only for me? Yes, yes, now I can
No,
hear.
there is some.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Mataji. Anyone else can read them. Hare Krishna.
Now we can hear it. Okay, you can try, Mataji. Then
Okay.
I'll read.
Humanity all over the world is divided into 4 castes and 4 orders. The 4 castes are the intelligent caste, the martial
Martial,
caste, productive caste,
Kshatriyas.
the laborer caste. These castes are classified into terms of one's work and qualification and not by birth. Then again, there are 4 orders of life, namely the student life, the householder's life, the retired, and the devotional life. In the best interest of human society, there must be such division of life. Otherwise, in a social instruction can grow into a healthy state.
No
And
social
in
institution.
no, that's what no social institution can grow into a healthy state. And in each and every one of the Mataji, actually font size, can you increase? It's difficult for me to read. That is why.
Okay, I will read Mataji then. No problem. Okay, so here it is said that there are 4 the order of life, right? All these 4 orders has been done by the Lord Himself. Only that to grow in a healthy state of life. In each and every one of the above division, the aim must be to please the supreme authority of the Lord as a student, right? As a grahastha, as a brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa. For all them, the goal should be to please the Supreme Lord. The institutional function of the human society is known as the Varnashrama system, which is quite natural for the civilized life. Varnashrama institution is constructed by to enable us to realize the absolute truth. The aim of the life is realization of the absolute truth, and it is not to be missed because of our Indra Pritri. That, as already discussed herein, the institution of Varnashrama is utilized by selfish men to pose an artificial predominance over the weaker. It is not that the Shudra should be dominated by the others who are in the upper. No, it is the duty of the Brahmana that he give advice to the Kshatriya. It is the duty of the Kshatriya that he takes care, he gives protection to the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras. It is a duty of the Vaishyas that he sees that whatever requirement is trading is to be done, so that he sees that every citizen gets everything that is required by the citizens is provided by them. It is not then that they make a profit out of it. It is their duty to provide the commodities, to get everything available for the citizens. That is their duty. Cow protection is their duty. But this is all fading off. And what is the duty of a Shudra? It is the duty of the Shudra that he should work for the others and thus being pleased. And it is the duty of the others to give protection and taking care of them. A Shudra is working for them. So he should be remunerated in such a way that he can lead his life properly, and then he should be given protection. That is how the system is. But here it is not. Now what is what the superior people, they try to dominate, and they, instead of protecting them, they put them into lower. The Vaishyas, they are what is there, they need more profit and become more rich. this is what has happened, which is really opposite. We are doing what actually it should be meant for. So here in the statement of Bhagavatam is that the highest aim of life or the highest perfection of the institution of Varnashrama system is to cooperate jointly for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.30, which is says Chaturvarnya Mayashrasam, right? Even the student life, as a student life, we should, till so many years of age, you should be in a Gurukul, you should learn how to lead a life. Then you can feel that you can continue, you continue, or else you come into the Grahastha life. It is the duty of the Grahasthas that they should take care of the brahmacharis and the sannyasis, right, as they lead their life, getting their family into Krishna consciousness. And once they attain a age of 50, they should leave everything and focus then Varnashrama, Vanaprastha. They should engage their time in glorifying the Lord in spirituality. And then is the sannyasa. So this is how it should be. But then if we do it, it helps for us only, right? So further, the last verse we will go, which is, yes, anybody who would like to read? I think everybody is exhausted.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Yeah.
Mataji.
Yes. Navakishori Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Yes, ma'am.
Yasta devarshina tatra varnita bhagavata kathaः maharyam shushruvshave brahmana kasyan anyeja chastu maharshi.
Yes,
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Brahmana, how did Narada Muni glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead and what pastime were described in that meeting? I am very eager to hear of them. Kindly explain fully about that glorification of the Lord. Mataji, should I go ahead with purport?
Barnali Mataji is there. She raised her hand. I'll
Okay,
ask her.
Mataji. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
ma'am.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam is the record of Bhagavad Katha, topics about the pastimes of Lord. What Vidura was anxious to hear from Maitra we can also hear 5,000 years later, provided we are very eager. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Hare Krishna. So we know that on this platform, all are very eager to hear about the glories of Krishna. All praise to the Supreme Lord that may this enthusiasm continue and help us to advance more and understand the glories of God. With that, I end this session of Srimad Bhagavatam. These 5 verses were given to me. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. If there is anybody who would like to just summarize at least 1 or 2 points of what we learned from today's verse, it would be good. I know that this is the subject matter again and again it has been told, but still when we repeat it makes us our understanding even more firm. The faith develops and the love develops. So anybody, just a summary of few points that you learned from today's class.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Regarding this third shloka, the Pancharatrika Vidhi, that one I just wanted to tell Mataji, like how we say no practice makes man perfect. Same thing. By practicing the deity worship and even chanting or hearing everything, at one point of time, we will be like, we don't know how we will be next moment, Mataji. So we don't know whether we can do the deity worship, we'll be able to do or not. So when we practice these all things, at that time, Lord will help us and we have to do it with mind, Mataji. If the hands or legs or anything is not working, that by practice only it will come, that remembrance or whatever it is there. So I feel like that, Mataji.
Very good. There's
Yeah.
a story of that Brahmana. He wanted to offer a sweet kheer to the Lord, but he did not have the paraphernalia. So in Manasik, he was doing, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes,
He made the
yes.
porridge and then he was
Yeah,
like, see his bhava, right?
yeah,
He was like, oh, is it hot? Let me just check whether it is. In
check,
that Manasik, when he checked, it burned his finger.
finger.
Yeah, that is what one understanding. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we
Hare Krishna.
understand that it is important to hear about the Lord and his devotees, and we should combine both because it helps in our purification, both the Panchratrika Vidhi and the Bhagavad Vidhi. So further verses we will hear the questions asked by Vidura and the answers by Maitreya Muni for us. With that, anything else? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I think this Pancharatra Bhagavata Vidhi and Pancharatrika Vidhi together will cover the 9 bhakti methods.
The 9 processes.
Sravana. In that, Sravana, Kirtana, Smarana comes under Bhagavata Vidhi.
Yes.
And rest of things come under Pancharatrika.
Very good.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranam Mataji.
Pranam Mataji.
I just wanted to ask Mataji, ask you whether my understanding is correct. What I have experienced in my sadhana. When we start doing that Pancharatrika Vidhi as told by our Srila Prabhupada, exactly like what he has said. So we see that there is a lot of improvement in our chanting and connection with the Lord. So this is what I have experienced, Mataji. So I just wanted to share this so that others will also, because we neglect that, oh, Arti, just, no, we will do it, we'll do it. So, but I was doing the same thing. So when we are very strict in our sadhana, that complete protection Prabhupada has done. And
Hare. Very
Hare
nice,
Krishna.
Mataji. When we do seva, cleaning the temple, offering the food to him, worshipping, dressing the deities, it really helps. It really helps in a very subtle way, and it will help in our advancement. Very nice realization.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for to share. Hare
Krishna.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, you're muted, Mataji.
Mataji, what I also feel when you do this type of seva, Mataji, offering bhoga and then doing abhishek, chanting and all that, you get a different type of a satisfaction, a different type of happiness within yourself. That's what I always feel, Mataji, while doing this seva.
But has clubbed both, because he knew that only chanting and people may not continue for long. So when it is clubbed with both, it will help us to engage throughout and help in our advancement and our growth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We'll end the session here. Yes, Mataji. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। प्रभुपाद की जय।
Thank you very much, Mataji.
श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
I'll end the session.